Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new episode of Franchise Hockey Manager 8. And it is with your expansion, Omaha Harvesters. I know I said I was going to let you guys pick, but I decided I didn't want to wait another week to start playing, so here we are. And I know the logos are screwed up and etc., but I don't know how to change it, and I don't want to spend the time. I don't do this to learn how to play to learn how to use Photoshop. I do this because I want to play a video game. So if somebody out there wants to create these logos for me, wonderful. I just found them online and plugged them in. Somebody out there wants to create the logo for me, I certainly wouldn't say no. Otherwise, you get what you get. So there are two brand new expansion teams. We take over the Omaha Harvesters, who will be in the Central Division. The other team in the Metropolitan will be the Richmond Streetcars. Those are your new additions to the NHL in 2027-2028. We say goodbye to the Buffalo Sabres and take over the Omaha Harvesters. So we got a lot to do in this episode. We have to do an expansion draft. We have to do free agency. We have to do the first-year player draft. And we have to set our budgets. And we have to deal with our staff. So the first things first, let's go to our budget. And we don't really have any points to spend. We only have 33 points. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put some points into scouting. We'll bump morale up a point. And we'll bump this up a couple of points. This will get us to the beginning of the season, and then we can adjust our points there. But this gives us a little bit of bump to our scouting, and we don't take a penalty to arena operations. Not a whole lot we can do here right now. We'll just leave everything the way it is. Let's take a look at our... Do we even have any staff? We do. Okay. Are they any good? He's a great trainer, skill coach. Porter McMillan is probably going to go away. Our offensive coach is good with forwards, great with prospects, above average at offensive training. That's fine. Above average there, very good and great. That's fine. So I think we want a new goalie coach. We will release him, and we will release him. Porter McMillan. So let's pick up two new coaches. We need a goalie coach and a skill coach. So, training. Let's filter out owners, GMs, head coaches, and scouts. So we need a goalie coach. So we want someone who's good at coaching goalies and good at coaching prospects. We can either go with the Tommy Chapin, excellent and very good, or I think we go Peter Yaros, excellent at coaching goalies and great at coaching prospects. So we will hire him as an assistant. And then we need a skills coach. So we want someone who's good with prospects and good with physical training. I think it's Jose Torres right there. Let's bring him on as our assistant. Let's go to our team staff. So Yaros is going to be our goalie coach, and Jose Torres will be our skill coach. All right, so that's set. Now we have to look at scouting. Yeah, our scouting is in rough shape. So let's hire some scouts, shall we? And where do we want scouts? So we want people that are looking at potential. So Marty Gardner in Montana. That should give us some scouting up in the... yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Let's bring in Roy Gass, a New Hampshire scout. That should get us most of the East Coast. Yep. And then we want someone in the Minnesota area. Tim Durham, right here. Millard Green, excellent and above average. Oh, wow. Okay, so we'll start there. Let's go to Canada now. Canada's in rough shape. We need some scouts in Canada. And it's nothing but the best of the best in Canada, I think. So Christian Karen. I would rather have young guys. So Danny Goat, Brandon Moss. It's fine. think having 2 people in Quebec is probably a good idea. So Danny Gauthier. I don't even, do we have the money for this? I think we do because we haven't put any money into payroll yet. So we just need to be careful what we do with payroll. Alberta will get us somebody out west, but he's kind of old. Here we go. Ryan Genter. All right, I need 1 more scout in Canada. I need to get Canada at least all blue. So Saskatchewan, British Columbia. Kurt Brownlee, does that do it? All right, so it gets us an all blue. It's still not ideal, but good enough for now. We could use some scouts in Western Europe. Edvin Gustafsson, he looks really solid for a 37-year-old. Bastian Hilsted works for me as well. We got Sweden. A lot of old people in Sweden. What do we got? Christian Oxenen, 38. Yep. He's cheap. All right. So 1 more scout up in the kind of your Nordic countries, I think, would be good. And then we need to get a scout or 2 down in Germany and that area there. So Marvin Mueller. He's expensive, but that gets us a scout in that area. That's good. Let's get 1 more scout in Norway, Norway, Sweden, or Finland. Johan Östlund works. So that should put us in good shape up there. Okay. Eastern Europe. And we'll check our finances after this, but we may still hire 1 or 2 more scouts. This is Czech Republic, right? Yaroslav Kudleka. Oh, wow. Okay. This is Czech or Russia. Okay. Mikhail Murakovsky. Cheap. So the Baltics, Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, Slovakia, and Southeastern Europe. So this is, what's this? Is that Belarus? That's Slovakia. Okay. But he's 62. And/or Bonnie Huddy. Okay, so that gets everything into blue. So if we look at our staff now, we still have plenty of money for scouts. So let's hire some more scouts. Let's get everything all dark blue. Absolutely, why not? Hire scouts. We want potential. Anthony Cork in North Carolina. Should we going to hire a scout in the Southeast? Maryland, Montana, Sean Eby. Does that kick us into all blue? It doesn't. Okay, so are we at our peak now? Is that kind of where we're at? Can we not make it? Can we not get... I don't think we can get... Yeah, that must be it. That must be... We must not be able to... Yeah, because our scouting... because of our scouting support. So we can't get that bumped up to 20 yet. I think I need that here. So that'll be something we'll deal with in as the season goes on. But I think we're ready. I think we are ready to move forward to... Yeah, I mean, because it's free agency. So, I mean, we can look at the free agent center, I guess, and see what's available. And, you know, we obviously have plenty of money, but I think Marcus Lindgren is going to be the first target for the Omaha Harvesters. Let's meet his demand. He is going to be a franchise player. Let's make a couple of deals here to some young players that aren't under contract with any teams. Luke Tuin. Meet demand. Blue chip prospect. Cool. Hopefully we can sign these guys and get off to a hot start. But I'm not going to go nuts. I think we find a couple of players and see what we can do. And blue chip prospect. And then maybe a goalie. Is there a goalie out there someplace that could be a stud? Bryant Marks, 13, 15. Where's that other one? Right here. 14 and 16, but he's 24. Meh. All right, let's sim ahead of day. Let's get to the expansion draft. And let's pick our team. And let's see what the Omaha Harvesters will look like here going into their first season. Be awesome if we could pick up Lindgren. Immediate top line stud player to build around. Count me in. All right, so Lindgren's negotiations are fine. So are Tuin's and so are Poroshkov's. So we got a couple players that potentially may sign with us. And let's get to the expansion draft. Wow. Really? That seems a little outrageous to me. I think I don't know that I can change anything at this point, though. So when I set the expansion rules, I set them where I tried to set them as close to real life NHL as possible. So I set them from a anybody who has a no movement clause has to be protected. Anybody with 2 years or less of time in the NHL had to be protected or couldn't be protected. So I don't know why someone like Aaron Kiviharu is showing up on there. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. All right, well, this is going to be our team. I mean, obviously there are two teams drafting, so there are a lot of good names on here, but we won't. Is there any way? Guys, I'll be back in a second. I want to see if I can change this because I think I got to change the age. I think having 21 and 22-year-olds is unrealistic, and it's going to make our teams really way too good. So I want to go in and I want to see if I can change this. I'm going to see if I can go back to where I was on July 1st. So hang tight. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and unfortunately the game saved itself on July 2nd, so I can't go in and make any changes to the expansion draft, which ultimately is okay. So I think this is going to be the plan. I think I'm going to try to keep this as realistic as possible. So I am going to run the expansion draft, and I'm going to make all the picks, without factoring in what I think is realistic or not, like Aaron Kiviaru, a 21-year-old potential 5-star defenseman. We only have him rated as a D. We only have him rated D overall, so he could be anything. But what I'm going to do is once the draft is done, I'm going to go back into each team, and any pick that I think is fairly unrealistic, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to replace that person with a player from another team. I didn't think that change, and it's only going to be for 21 and 22-year-olds. So potentially I should only have to make a couple of moves. If someone's 26 or 27 and they're in the expansion draft, so be it. But, a couple of these players, maybe I'll do 21 through 23. Yeah, I think I'll do 21, 22, and 23-year-olds. And that will, and only ones that are like 3.5 stars or more. If there's a 22-year-old 3-star player, I don't care. So 21, 22, and 23-year-olds that are 3.5 stars or more, I'm going to send back to their team. It's not realistic to me that the Devils would give up on that. They would leave somebody exposed like Luke Hughes when they have, if we look at their defense, I mean, Kiviharu is one of their best defensemen. And, so they left. It must be because of the no movement clauses. Is that what Dougie Hamilton has? He has a no movement clause. I mean, if that's what it is, if it's an issue because the team has too many no movement clauses, then so be it. Then that's their problem, not mine. Yeah, Seth Jones has a no movement clause. Okay. They kept Rotondi. I mean, they still wouldn't have protected Shakir Mukhamadullin over. Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because it's just, to me, it's just not realistic that they would leave these guys unprotected. So that's what we're gonna do. A little bit of a rocky start here, but we will move forward. So let's start with the goalies, and I think we have the first pick. Yeah. All right. So we have the first pick, and I'm not spending a ton of. I don't want to spend a ton of money here on really any position. So let's find a goaltender that Thornton is a 14. Jacob Malik. Talon Boyko. Alexei Kolosov. He looks okay. Blomqvist. We're a little bit more comfortable with our scouting on Joel Blomqvist, so I think we'll go with him. We'll pick then we will go to the next pick. So they then took Montembeault and Jacob Dobes. So what do we want? I would like a experienced goalie as my backup, but I don't want to spend a ton of money on said backup goalie. Like Aiden Hill's not bad. It's more than I'd like to spend. Or do we just go a couple of young goalies and just let them work? Sebastian Cossa wasn't terrible. His ratings are okay. I think we go Kolosov. I think we're going to go Kolosov and Blomqvist. And we got to pick a third goalie. And this can be our development goalie. So who's the youngest goalie here? Radislav Eliash. Meh. Kyle Downey? I think we go Kyle Downey. A 20... Well... Again, I made the decision that I was going to be moving on from some of these players that were 23 and under. So, but I got to make the picks based on what I said. So Mason Beaup, he's an E scout. Yeah, I think we're gonna go Downey. Yeah, we'll go Downey. So they took Timothy Liljegren as their first pick, their first defenseman pick. So let's go ahead and now filter that out. Let's go to defenseman. All right. So, I mean, the obvious pick is, well, maybe Luke Hughes isn't the obvious pick. Maybe they left him exposed because he's making $7 million a year. In which case, I don't want him. So we could take Reed Anderson from Buffalo. That might be the move. Didn't get any time in Buffalo. I left Buffalo with a bunch of no movement clauses, so I guess that's probably my fault. But you know what? Screw it. We're just gonna draft based off this, and that's gonna be our team. I'm not gonna go back in and make any changes. It is what it is. I set it the way I thought it should be set, and that's how it is. So we are going to take. Man, Luke Hughes is good, but that's a ton of money. Mazden Leslie, another Buffalo native. We may take Leslie and Anderson as our top two defensemen here. Very Buffalo flavor to what we have on our team. I mean, Kiviharu seems like the no-brainer, but if his... In fact, I think he is. I think he is. Even if our scouting is off a little, he's still going to be good. So we're going to take Kiviharu on the right. On the left... Or, excuse me, he's on the left. So, I guess we don't technically need to take a... Because Anderson can play both. I think Reed Anderson is going to be that guy. I mean, they're both 15, 14, 15, 14, 6'3", 219. Anderson is smaller, 5'11", 191. His injury tendency is fine. Leslie, this was his first year. He's coming off of a championship. They're all coming off a championship, so they're happy. I think we're going to go Anderson. We're going to take Anderson with that pick. So Kiviharu and Anderson are our first two defensive players. And I did set it up so you could only pick one player per team. So, teams won't get rated, which means we shouldn't, in theory, be able to take Leslie. But we can. Yeah, I set it up so that you only take one player per team. But apparently it's didn't register that. So, all right. All right, so we're still on defensemen. I mean, I don't mind picking up an expensive defenseman as long as he's not signed super long term. Like Jacob Slavin might not be a bad pick because he's pretty good defensively. He's got this year and next year at 5.3. Offensively, he's not going to do much, but he looks to be still pretty solid defensively. Simon Forsmark, another Buffalo goalie, another Buffalo defenseman. Chromiak, 14, 14, 14, 13. Etienne Morin. 15, 14, 15, 13. Kind of like Forsmark. It's all, I don't want to take all Buffalo skaters. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want this to turn into Buffalo West here. I think we're going to take Slavin. I like having the defensive defenseman out there so he can play on that top line with Kiviharu or something like that. So it's our pick again. And I think we're going to go 14, 15, 14, 14. So Leslie's a little more developed. And he's younger. 15, 14, 15, 13. But we have no information on Marin at all, so he could literally be anything. I think we're going to take... I don't know what we're going to do. Ekholm, no, he's making too much money. Matthew Robertson. Well, why does this say $6 million? Oh, that's his demand. He's not a free agent, so we have him for this year. I think we take Matthew Robertson. All right, pick until human. All right. So they took Mazden Leslie and Drew Hellison. All right, that's fine. So we need 2 more defensemen. Again, I don't want to spend a crap ton of money if I can help it. Victor Berglund is good offensively. Mackenzie Weegar is expensive. Hannafin, I talked about Hannafin. 5.8. Excuse me. John Marino, 30 years old, very good defensively, not going to score a lot offensively. Long-term contract. I don't know how I feel about the 4-year contract. If it was like 2 years, maybe. Alex Vlasic, Bowen Byram, Braden Schneider. No. So right now we're sitting with Kiviharu, Anderson, Slavin, and Robertson. So we've got 2 young guys and 2 experienced guys. I think we can take a shot at a young guy. So let's take Simon Forsmark and Chromiak. We still doing defensemen? We are. They took Lassie Thompson and Riley Walsh. So how many defense? I think it's 7 defensemen, 1 goalie, 7 defensemen, and 10 forwards or something like that. Josh Morrissey. I'm looking for somebody who's got the higher defensive ratings. I want a defenseman who's over a 15. We got Rasmus Anderson, and that's a cheap contract. It was only $3 million. I think we take Rasmus Anderson. And we get another defenseman here. Yeah, Anderson, I think, was a good pick. He's only making $3 million this year and $3 million next. Alex Vlasic. He's making 5.2, but it's just for this 1 year. I think I'm going to hold off there. So we have 7 defensemen now, so I think we can start looking again for maybe either younger players or just filler, right? We don't need to spend a ton of money on, defensemen's 8, 9, and 10. Like this guy, Alec Leonard, 23 years old, 14 offense. Oh, but our rating on him is we have absolutely no idea. He could be anything. But, I mean, it looks like he's got pretty good defensive ratings, so we'll take Alec Leonard. We're still in defenseman. We are still in defenseman. Okay. All right, next pick. We'll take a shot at Marin. I'm fine with that. I will fine with that at this point. Matthias Havlid, no. Tuomisto. That's not a bad contract. 26 years old, 2.8, 2.6. Sure. Antti Tuomisto. Oh, I have to select a forward now. Okay, so we're on to the forwards. And we get the top forward pick. Who's the best forward available? There's some decent names on here. Nothing elite, but it certainly looks like we're going to have to spend a little more money on our forwards than we did on our defensemen. Yegor Afanasev. Yegor Afanasev. Afanasayev. There we go. Yegor Afanasayev. Looks to be a pretty solid pick. He's not making a lot of money. And he's a pretty darn good forward. So that is our first pick. They then take Sam Maremba and Jack Quinn from Buffalo. So a couple of Buffalo Sabres going down the coast to Richmond. All right. Next pick for us. Ivar Stenberg. He was picked in the 3rd round. Kyle Connor. Emil Harventey, another Buffalo Sabre. Yeah, Buffalo's getting raided here, man. We had a good roster there in Buffalo. That is for sure. Nate Danielson, his contract is up after this season, but he's pretty cheap. There's Poltapov. Yeah, all sorts of Buffalo Sabres players are available here. It would have been nice to pick up a Remba. Damn, I didn't even think about him. I didn't look hard enough. Alexander Campbell. Contract is a little high. So we took a wing. So it'll probably be good to pick up our top line center here. Stenberg. Ivar Stenberg, and we go after Matthew Savoy. I mean, we know what we're getting with him. Meh. Jesse Nurmi. I think Ivar Stenberg is the pick. Yeah, Ivar Stenberg will be our next pick. All right. Pierre-Luc Dubois, Nate Schnarr, Kyle Connor. Fractured skull for Kyle Connor. That sucks. Emil Harventey. I think that's probably the pick. He signed this year at $925. 15 offense, 14 defense, 15. Yep, so we're going to take Buffalo. So Buffalo getting absolutely raided in this draft. They then took Savoy and Schnarr. Let's look at ability. Dubois. Who's this? Blake Murray, 25 years old. I don't know anything about him. Nate Danielson, another Buffalo Sabre. Peyton Krebs, what's his contract look like? 1.6. Oof. Yeah, we're going to have to... there are a lot of expensive forwards out there. So I think the smart move is to draft young players. I mean, Krebs has value. Hasn't really put it together in Vegas yet, but maybe that's just because of the team he's playing for. Only 23 points. Solid offensive rating. He's not great, but solid. And maybe a good setup man. He's not going to score a ton, but looks like a pretty decent setup man. But yeah, playmaker, two-way forward. I mean, he's pretty physical. He's okay defensively. Yeah, we'll take Peyton Krebs. We will take Peyton Krebs with our next pick. Now what? I really want to try to stay away from just drafting Buffalo Sabres. You know, that's just, I'd rather not. Again, I don't want to make this Buffalo South, a Buffalo West. So, I wouldn't mind a solid defensive forward. Like Mr. O'Reilly. What's his contract look like? $8.5 million. No, thank you. Bo Horvat, Max Domi, Tyler Bertuzzi. Yeah, not a ton of super talented forwards. It looks like most of the talent was on the back end. JT Miller. His ratings have all started to drop. He's 34, 6.5 million. No, thank you. Put Colson, 5.9, 5.9. Yeah, sure, why not? We can take an expensive forward in Vasil Podkolzin. They then take Danielson and Denisenko. They think Dubois is a risky pick. Celebrini, Scott. Safe pick would be Molnar. Andre Molnar from Seattle or Justin LaRose from St. Louis. The scouts think we should take Ullman or Uman or Nurmi or Forlin. Parker Forlin may not be a bad option. Pretty clean player. Is he normal durability. Macklin, Celebrini, Teddy Townsend, Dustin Scott is an offensive forward whose offensive ratings are but he's only making $750 each of the next couple years. That seems like a pretty decent pick. We'll take Dustin Scott with our first pick here in the 18th round. We move on to the 19th. They still think Dubois is a risky, what's his contract? 7.7 for the next two. No, thank you. We can pick up Dylan Cousins. He's making 4.9 this year, 4.9 next. How many Sabres do we have? 2? Harventee and... three, I think. Harventee. Yeah. Harventee, Anderson. 4. Yeah, I'm not going to take any more Sabres. As much as I would want to, I'm not going to take any more Sabres. I don't want to gut the team that badly. Brad Gardner, 15 offense, 14 defense, 15 physical. 820 this year, 820 next. Good offensive ratings. Good checker. He would probably, assuming these ratings are accurate, he would probably be our top defensive forwards. We'll take Brad Gardner. They then take Fabian Zetterlund and Vladislav Firstov. So it's back to us. Alexander Campbell is 26. 44 points last year, 57 the year before that. That's a lot of money. I will pass. So let's look at... Nurmi, Omen, Forlin, Grayson Sachin, Marco Kasper. How is he 3? Oof, that's a ton of money for someone whose ratings are just okay. Cooper Pearson might not be a bad pick. He is sort of at his peak, it looks like. But again, we're only at a D scouting and D confidence level. But good offensively, good defensively. We're going to take Cooper Pearson. Trying to get ourselves some offensive or defensive-minded players on our roster. Mangiapane had a good year, 73 points last year for the Kraken. I kind of like that pick. I mean, it's 5.5 this year, 5.5 next. It's not terrible, but he did score 73 points last year. So we're going to take Andrew Mangiapane. He'll probably be our captain. They then took Poltapov and Amarov. Okay. Grayson Sachin is probably, well, I don't know. Forlin, Sachin has the best ratings, but we're also the least confident. We haven't our scouts have gotten to him less. So I think Parker Forlin. And I think we have two more picks after this. So now Luke McNamara, only 11 mental, but ugh. But everything else is pretty good. Luke McNamara is going to be our next pick. All right, pick until human. They then took Matthew Olivier and Eetu Luosterainen. So we have 21 signed, 23 protected. So that means we must have a couple players that are free agents here. So we'll have to take a look at that. So we still have $37 million. We still have plenty of money. I mean, I'm not going to just throw it around for the sake of throwing it around, but we can take a player who maybe is making a little more money and not be too concerned about it. Pierre-Luc Dubois. What was his contract? It was 2 years, 7-7 this year, 7-7 next. Yeah, I could take Pierre-Luc Dubois at this point. Okay. Let's try to find another cheap option. Johannes Seidbach. I think we're going to take Sachin. We're going to take Sachin with this pick. So they took Jan Jenik and John Leonard. Ow. I don't know how many picks we have left, so we'll just keep picking. We've made 13 forward picks. Connor Garland, Luke Evangelista, 5.2, 5.2. Samu Tuomala. Yep, we're going to take Tuomala. I like that $2.5 million contract. I'm good with that. And we're done with the draft. Okay. So we have the rest of free agency here. And yeah, so what do we have to do? We don't really have to set our team yet. Salary floor warning, your current payroll is lower than the cap floor. Okay. So we need to sign why is it on there? Okay. We need to sign a free agent. So there's our team. Kiviharu is our stud defenseman. Got a couple of decent goalies. Our defense is pretty okay, I think. Kiviharu, yeah, our defense is pretty okay, assuming they all develop. Our forwards are they're all right. But we still have a ton of money in free agency. So let's look at the free agent center. What do we want to spend our money on? Do we want to, we want to just go all out and take a run at Trevor Zegras? Oh, we have to spend the money. So we may as well. Malcolm Spence. Let's take a run at Malcolm Spence. All right. I think we take a run at Zegras. Very good offensively. Very good defensively. He's kind of a two-way style forward. He wants 7.5 for 6 years. He's 26, so let's meet the demand and actually bump it up a little bit. And then we will take that down, that down, that down, that down, and that down. Give him a little extra this year because we can. In fact, let's just bump this up to 8. Okay. So hopefully that gets us up over the cap floor, assuming we make the signing. So let's go ahead and advance a day. Salary floor. No, I don't want the Canada job. I'm good. So, guys, let me know what you think. Do you think that I should be going in and sending someone like Kiviharu back, or do you think I'm okay keeping him? I'm okay with either because I don't want this to be too easy. But at the same time, they left him exposed. And I don't care about the numbers. I don't care about the numbers at all. Fine. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. If I should give the ones that are sort of unrealistic. Like, do I just send back the 21 and 22 year olds? Because I think I only had one or two. Podolskin is unhappy. He'll deal with it. Krebs is unhappy. He'll deal with it. I don't care. Oops, it's not what I wanted to do. But that's fine. All right. So yeah. So if we used that, if we used the age as a guide, it would be Stenberg. It would be these 5 players: Scott, Chromiak, Forlin, Kiviharu, Stenberg. Do I send them back? I mean, I guess I said 22. So do I send these guys back and pick a worse option? And then do the same thing with, and then just kind of commissioner mode over to Richmond to do the same thing with them? Or do you think I'm fine? Do you think I'm fine, or should I try to make this a little more realistic? I don't care either way. You just let me know what you think. I'm going to set up the team as if we're going to run with this team, but you let me know what you think I should do. All right, so that's what we're going to do here. So we need to go ahead another day. We'll get up to the draft. We'll do the draft, and then I'll sim ahead offline a little bit. No reason for you to sit here and watch me just sim days. We'll get up to the beginning of the season. We'll set the lines, and we'll call it episode 1. So you just need to let me know what you think I should do. So Chromiak wants 25. He can't have it. He can have 28. He wants 25. He can't have it. He can have 26. And he wants 17. He can't have it. He can have 16. So Zagris likes our deal. Let's move ahead another day. I already did all that. Let's go ahead another day. Players need to be assigned numbers. Mangiapane wants 88. He can't have it, so he can have 89. Next day. And I don't believe, I can't remember how the NHL expansion, how the draft works for expansion teams. I think we get picks at the end of the first round. I don't think we get the top picks. Oh, we do. Okay. So let's see where we land. So Kings, Senators, Lightning, Coyotes, Bruins, everything is as it should be so far. Hurricanes, Preds, Stars, Penguins. Okay, so the Canadians drop from 8 to 9. That means the Sharks are going to move up. There go the Flyers at 8, Caps at 6, Vegas at 6, Caps at 7, us at 5, Streetcars at 4. Blues drop from 1 to 3. The Ducks get the number 2 pick. And the San Jose Sharks are going to get the number 1 pick. So we're going to end up with the number 5 pick in the draft. I am recording. It's going to be a long episode. That's okay, though. All right, so we signed Lindgren, we signed Zegras, we signed Tuin. So there we go. So we get our big fish top line center. We can pair him with Lindgren on that top line, along with probably Mangiapane. Cool. All right. So we have 28 players on our roster, and it is time for the draft. There's some talent in the draft this season. So we're picking 5th. So the top player looks like Jamie Doherty, 18-year-old defenseman, followed by Matthew LaPlante, Ian Shute, a goalie out of Long Island University, Phil Gardner, a right defenseman who's a little further along. Baraclow, Dutra, and Zagalnikov. Dennis Zagalnikov. So let's see how this draft goes. So top pick is Jamie Doherty of the San Jose Sharks. Number 2 pick, Ian Shute goes to the Ducks at number 2. Number 3 pick is Phil Gaudino. The number 4 pick is Matthew LaPlante. And now it comes to us at 5. Really, it's anything. We really need anything. Tyron Fevry is probably the most developed 2.5 star, 3.5 star. But again, our scouting is E, so we don't have any idea. Fevry, they think, is the safe pick. Baraclow is the pick they think we should make. I don't know that I'm ready to take a goalie, an 18-year-old goalie who's injury prone. I think we go with the safe pick and take Tyron Fevry. I think we make the safe pick and we let him develop for the year and see what we get. So there is the first pick. Let's go to our next pick. Top of round 2. They think we should take Chad Wilson. And we got Bill Thomas out of Long Island as well. Safe suggestions. There's Wilson and Thomas. So I think it's either or. It looks like they think we should take one or the other. Do we take Chad Wilson? And again, we don't really have much information on anybody. So most of the picks we're making are not necessarily shot in the darks, but they could be anything. I like Bill Thomas just because of his size. 6'5", 213-pound, 18-year-old. We'll take Bill Thomas. Pick until human. All right. We got one 3.5 star potential guy left, at least according to our scouts, and that's Girk Vixna. 5'11", 204-pound, 20-year-old tank out of the KHL. They think we should take a goalie in Hampus Willen. Yep, that looks like what everybody thinks, so I'm okay with that. Hampus Willen will be the number 3 pick for the Harvesters. We go to round 4 now. Karnachow. Vital Karnaucha as the number 4 pick. Yeah, and again, it's pretty across the board, although we do have a Tony McKenney here. Durable, pretty solid. Wow, very physical. 154 penalty minutes in 59 games. We're going to take McKenney. I like that defense and that physicality. Next pick. Karnachaw's still there, so I think now probably makes sense to take him. Next pick. All right, so we are in the 6th round. 5th round. Okay, we are in the... No, we're not. Oh, pick until human. There we go. Now we're in the 6th round. Okay. So the scout and the risky suggestions is this Luka Jenis out of the Czech Republic. Safe selection is Steve Donnelly out of RPI. 6'2", 194. Jenis, 6'1", 193. I think we're going to go with the safe pick, Steve Donnelly. Let's go to the next human pick. That will be round 7. Risky pick is Ake Nilsson. An 18-year-old. Safe pick is Peter Klein. I think that's probably the pick we're going to take. And then Daniel Yan. Yeah, we're going to take Klein. Peter Klein as our 7th pick. And that should be it for the draft. So let's get to the next day. Draft review. Best drafts. The Streetcars and the Harvesters had the 2 best drafts. So good for us. Or 2 of the best drafts, I should say. Players need to be assigned numbers. Lindgren wants 25. He can't have it. He'll have 15. All right, guys. I don't think we have any. We don't have any pending offers. So I don't think I'm going to make any further moves. What is our roster? What is our salary cap? 61 million, the floor is 60. So we're right there, but that's also with 28 players left on the roster. So I'm going to go ahead and sim up to the beginning of the regular season. We'll set our rosters and we'll call it a day here for episode number 1 of the Omaha Harvesters. So I will be back in just a minute. All right, guys, we are back, and I made the decision. I pulled the trigger. Any player that was 3.5 stars or greater that was under the age of 23, so 21 and 22-year-olds that were 3.5 stars or greater, I sent back to the team that they played for initially. I just felt like I was taking advantage of the AI being stupid, and I didn't want to do that. So our team is not nearly as good as it was before, but I think that makes more sense. So some of the players that we brought back in place of the players that we sent out, we brought back Dylan Cousins. He was one of the players that was on the expansion list for Buffalo. We brought back Dylan Cousins. We brought in Ryan Johnson from Buffalo, and we sent them back Harventee and Anderson. To me, that just makes more sense. They would keep these two guys. Where are we? Omaha. We brought in Almquist from Philadelphia. We brought in Ponomaryov from Carolina. We brought in Kuramoto from Columbus and Dawson Mercer from the Rangers. And we sent back everybody who was 3.5 stars or greater. So New Jersey got Kiviharu back. It just felt like it made more sense. And we brought back Shakir Mukhamadullin. Mukhamadullin from New Jersey, and we sent them back Kiviharu. It just made more sense to me. And yeah, so that is what we did. So let's set up the organization. We'll go in because right now we only have one minor league team in Atlanta. I don't want Forsmark down there right now. In fact, I don't think I want any of these guys down there right now. Yeah. I think what I want to do for the rest of the preseason is bench the players that we know, right? Like I know what Anderson's going to give us. Oh, we brought in Jet Wu as well from Vancouver. I don't even remember who we sent back at this point, but we're going to place Anderson with Forsmark. I want to get these young players some playing time here in the preseason, the rest of the preseason. Cooper Pearson is another player we brought in from Arizona. Again, I don't remember who we sent back, but so let's go ahead and sim through the end of preseason. And at this point, if they put these players on waivers, I will claim them. I will claim them if they put them on waivers because at that point they're available basically for free to anybody. Players need to be assigned numbers. Jet Wu wants 52. He'll have 42 and like it. Cousins will have 24. That's fine. Dawson Mercer wants 19. He can't have it. He'll have 29. He wants 92. That's fine. Forsmark wants 27. He can't have it. He'll have 26. All right. So, yeah. So, I made the decision. And part of this has been a little bumpy. I apologize for that. Part of this video has been a little bumpy. But we put the team together, right? And that's what episode 1 is all about, is putting that team together. So, mental ratings, Slavin is our captain, Podkolzin is our number 2, and I guess it'll be Tuomala will be our second alternate. So let's move forward. Yeah, I just didn't want, the whole story about the Vegas Golden Knights and what they did in their first season was really cool. But the reality is that the Golden Knights didn't do it by drafting everybody's young players. They did it through shrewd drafting of the players they picked. So that's kind of the way I am with this. I want to make sure that the players that we pick are right and we're not good just because we drafted a bunch of 5-star young players. So I hope you guys agree. If you do, or if you don't, let me know in the comments. It's not going to hurt my feelings either way. Yeah, I feel like this is a more accurate depiction of an expansion team. Players in their mid to late 20s, a couple of veterans, and then a couple of young players. And our superstar in Trevor Zegras. We'll keep simming along here. So we should get to October 1st. We will be able to... we beat the Islanders 8-2. I think we're over the cap floor as well, so I don't believe we're going to have to make any signings. If we do, we'll just bring in a veteran on a 1-year contract at a cheap or at an expensive dollar amount. So we don't have anybody that needs clear waivers. Monthly budget. We are under budget. Or we have no money because games haven't started yet. So we need to get to waivers. Yeah, so like I said, if any of those players that I sent back to their teams are placed on waivers, I will bring them back because at that point, anybody can claim them. So if anybody can claim them, it may as well be me. And I did leave, there were 2 3.5-star players on Richmond. I left them on Richmond because, again, the AI is dumb. So I figured, we'll give the AI a bit of an advantage here with their 2 better players, if it were. All right, so let's see what we got. We got Mats Lindgren, who's meh. William Yee. Connor Geeky. Maverick. But Connor Geeky, what's his contract look like? Ooh, that's reasonable. I like the Connor Geeky pickup, I think. Yeah, because offensive, we were missing. I think we're pretty solid defensively. It's offensively that we're struggling. So Connor Geeky, we will claim him. It's a reasonable contract. Hasn't scored a lot of points. Well, we already claimed him, so it's irrelevant now. But he looks to be a pretty decent two-way forward, which is kind of what we're looking for. So, when's our first game? Our first game is on the 4th? No, it isn't. Or is it? Let's see. Yeah, and since none of those players were on waivers, that means every single player that I sent back to their team is on the NHL roster, which tells me I made the right decision. Oh, maybe that doesn't mean that. Just because somebody doesn't clear waivers doesn't mean they're not on the big league team. I suppose they could have been sent down. Okay, so we do have a game here against Montreal on the 4th. Is this our first regular? Yeah, it's our first regular season game. All right. So, season preview. We're obviously not anywhere on that list. Mangiapane wants to be number 88. That's fine. All right. Let's take a look really quickly at the waiver wire. I don't think there's going to be anybody there. There's only one player there. All right, so we have to set our roster. We have 27 players on the roster. We need to cut that down to 23. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defensemen. We only need 7, really, right? We need, I think it's going to be 2 and let him develop a little bit. Yeah. We will send him to Atlanta. We need to send 3 forwards down. Let's look at our 2.5-star forwards. Scott can go to Atlanta. Connor Geeky we can't send down. Dryden Kuramoto. Send him down. And Cooper Pearson. Yeah, Cooper Pearson. All right, so those are the players that are sent down, and we are $60,000 over the cap. So let's go ahead. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensemen dressed. The 6th will be Anderson. Wu will be our 7th defenseman. Forwards, we have to dress 1 more. I think it's going to be Afanasayev. He was our top forward pick. All right, so let's set our lines now. Let's clear the lines. So our top line center is going to be Trevor Zegras. Do we want him as an aggressive forechecker? Counter-attacking forward, I think. And we will put Cousins on the right. And Afanasayev on the left. Set him as a playmaker. Leave him as a power forward. That's good. Let's go back here. So who do we want as our second line center? We got Krebs, McNamara. I think it's got to be Krebs. I mean, he's not particularly good, but I think he's the best of the bunch. So Krebs will be our second line center. I don't want him as a dangler. I'd rather have him as a playmaker. On his left, Mangiapane as an up and down winger. And then who do we want on the right side on that second line? Lindgren. 16 offense, 16, yeah. Lindgren will go on that second line. Third line center. We got McNamara and Almquist as our other two center options, and they're basically the same, but I think Almquist is probably the better option. So Almquist will be our third line center. Counter-attacking forward. Who's going to go on the left? Tuomala. Yeah, it's going to be Tuomala. Will be on the left. And then on the right, Mercer will go on the right. So Mercer on the right and Tuomala on the left. I guess a screener's fine. And then Mercer. Okay, so then our fourth line is McNamara in the middle with Poroshkov. Nope, not Poroshkov. With Almquist. No, Almquist is our third line center. So what are we missing here? Put Colson. Goes on the right. And who am I missing on the left? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who am I missing? Poroshkov. It's on the third line. I don't know that I want him there. Afanasayev is on the top line. Cousins. There's Lindgren. There's Mercer. We're missing somebody. McNamara. Almquist is our... Did I address too many defensemen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. We have 6 defensemen dressed. Mangiapane, Zegras, Almquist, Afanasayev. I am super confused. But Colson, Mercer. All right. So let's just start here. Mangiapane is there. Poroshkov is there. Tuomala. Oh, that's what I did. Okay, that is what I did. It was supposed to be like that. All right, and then defensively, we will go Slavin on the right with... Who do we want out there with Slavin? I'd prefer a younger... I think Forsberg, and then Robertson can be on the second line. Sort of protects that defenseman a little bit. Robertson there... Rather have him as a two-way. Forsmark is fine like that. Robertson as a two-way is fine. Who's going to be on that second line with him? That'll be Rasmus Anderson. Pretty solid second D-line pairing. And then Johnson and Mukhamadulin on the third. I don't want him as a rushing defenseman. We'll have him as a stay-at-home. All right, goaltenders. I don't think it matters, but we'll go Blomqvist and Kolosov. Our extra attackers will be Zegras and Afanasayev. Shootout, and Mangiapane. All right, and then okay. So now we got to set our power plays. So we're gonna go with the same line: Afanasayev, Zegras, and Cousins on the top line. That second line: Mangiapane, Krebs, Lindgren, Shore. Mangiapane, Krebs, Lindgren. So let's set those real quick. Yeah, I already feel better about making those changes. I hate taking advantage of the AI. I find it really boring to watch people who abuse the AI. So I feel like this is the right move. I just feel like this is the right move. So Robertson, do we want to go 2 forwards or 2 defensemen on each D line? Or no, I think we want to go 4 forwards. So we'll go Robertson. And I think Slavin, but we're gonna switch it around to do Robertson on the top, and then Dawson Mercer and Tuomala, like that. Robertson and Slavin in a 4-on-3. It'll be Cousins and Lindgren with Robertson and Slavin. PK, Zegras will be obviously our top line penalty killing forward. Who's our best defensive forward otherwise? Checking, Mangiapane is good. Krebs isn't bad. Okay. So penalty kill, we will go Zegras and Mangiapane. Krebs as our second line. Tuomala was on there. Defensive ratings. Hit positioning. McNamara and Mercer. Okay. McNamara and Mercer. Zegras, Mangiapane. Defensively, we will go Slavin and Rasmus Anderson on that top line. Robertson with Johnson on the second line, I believe, and then Mukhamadullin and Forsmark on that third line. And I think we take a little bit of time away from that bottom line. I'm not crazy about having that bottom line out there on the PK all that often. I don't think they're going to be all that good. 4-on-4s. Zegras, put him there with Mangiapane right there. Where is he? No. Where is Afanasayev? That's who I was looking for. 3-on-3, it'll go Zegras and Afanasayev, Mangiapane, and Krebs. We're not going to get much offense out of that second line, but hopefully they can be pretty solid defensively. And then we will put Robertson out there, Slavin, and Johnson with Rasmus Anderson. So we'll put it around that way. Goalie starts, backup goalie. We will start frequently. Everything else looks fine. And I think that is it. That is our roster. So the Omaha Harvesters getting ready for their first full NHL season. I'll sim offline through the first, couple of weeks just to see how things go. And we will come back next episode with probably November and December. So, guys, let me know what you think. Again, drop your comments, what you think about the draft, about our free agent signings, about the expansion draft, and then let me know what you think about the in-house rules that I had to make this thing a little more what I would consider realistic. So, guys, that's going to do it. And I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.